Good morning.
The resources, the services for veterans is expansive, and now it's expanding a little bit more.
Yes. Over the past couple of years, we've expanded our clinical program, so we have a lot more beds available for anyone who's in need of recovery services. We have both short-term, long-term, inpatient. We also have some outpatient programs. We always have space, and we prioritize veterans for all of those programs and their families as well.
So you have people from the most recent wars, the most recent conflicts, to Vietnam. What about before Vietnam?
I think at the moment, most of our veterans are the veterans who've served in Vietnam. We do occasionally see, I've run into, over my time at Veterans Inc., a few World War II veterans, which was amazing to meet those gentlemen. They were just amazing people.
The greatest generation.
Yes.
American heroes. Anybody who served our country are heroes. What about Operation Iraqi Freedom or Desert Storm, or people who served more recently?
I met a veteran who served in Grenada for a little while. Both staff and veterans come in who've served in Iraq, Afghanistan. Some of them have also served in places like Syria. We have on staff, on occasion, we have people who deploy. We had a couple years ago a staff member who deployed back to Iraq. She was in Syria for a little while, went back to Iraq, and came back to us safe and sound.
When veterans come to you, or family members can contact you on behalf of veterans that they feel can utilize your services, maybe the veteran doesn't want to contact you for whatever reason, what are some of the most common calls that you get?
Sure. So we have a very robust housing program. We have both beds for people who don't have a place to go if they're in transition between housing, or if they can't afford housing. We're seeing a lot more people with the rise in the cost of housing, just elderly veterans who are not able to afford to stay in the places that they've been in for many years. So we do have beds for that. We also have programs that will help pay back rent, that will help if you are not in permanent housing, to pay, a security deposit to get you into that new place. And that's something that we've had for many years, but in the past few years, especially since the pandemic, that's really expanded, and we're allowed to, do a lot more. We can help move you physically. We can collect new furniture, drop it off at your house, pay utility bills. We also have some subsidies within that new program, or the expanded program, that we can pay for half of your rent for up to 2 years, while you have a little bit of flexibility to increase your income over that time.
And you're helping people increase their income how?
Yes. So we have a lot of employment and training programs, and those have also expanded in the past few years. We have probably a team of about 10 in Central Mass, and we also serve anyone who's seeking employment or needs employment assistance across all of New England, Montana, and North Dakota. Those programs we're really helping people who are seeking better employment, getting into a job as they transition out of the military. And we have a team of people who will, from beginning to end, help you with that whole process of getting a job. We start with, looking at your skills. What skills do you have? What did you do in the military? How can we translate those skills so that a civilian employer will understand exactly what skill sets you have and make sure that it makes sense to them. We also will do mock interviews. We will make sure that you have, the best clothes to wear to that interview. We can also pay for a lot of trainings if there's a certificate that you need. For example, some people, we pay for like a PCA program for them to go through, get a certificate. We also can pay for, like a security clearance. There's a lot of, fees and training costs that you don't necessarily have that money in your back pocket if you're not working. So we're able to cover those costs, and we help place them into employment, and we can advocate with that employer to say, hey, this is a veteran, and here's why hiring a veteran is less risky than hiring just anyone else.
You hear a lot about mental health. You hear a lot about PTSD. What type of services do we have for that?
So we've recently expanded our behavioral health program, and we bill insurance, but you don't have to have insurance to come in. We're able to work with the state to get you the help that you need if you're eligible. We have a Staff Sergeant Fox grant, which is fairly new. In that program, we're assessing Have you ever, felt like you don't want to wake up? What kind of level of mental health issue are you looking at? Is it something that's current? Is it something that happened in the past? And we're trying to catch those veterans who, may not necessarily be connected with the VA yet, and may be eligible. And within that, we're also looking at what supports do you need in the community? Do you need a peer support group? Do you need to meet other veterans and just, feel less alone? Or do you need to, increase some of your benefits? Maybe you don't have everything that you're eligible for. So we do a lot of reviews of benefits, and we make sure that you're connected to another person so that you are much less isolated and alone.
We've talked about so many resources that Veterans Inc. provides. Fill in the blanks of some of the things that we didn't talk about.
In our employment and training programs, we've just recently expanded to serve spouses of military members. So it can be someone who's actively serving, or it can be a veteran. We have a food pantry that's local. Twice a month, people can come in and it will supplement their groceries. And we also have a really good team reviewing benefits, and that team is growing. So the more benefits that you have, the better off you'll be and the more connected you'll be.
So Veterans Inc. is in a beautiful old armory building. The architecture is gorgeous. It's right on Grove Street in Worcester. How big is the footprint of the people that you serve?
Anyone across New England and Montana and North Dakota. So we're covering 8 states now, and we're serving about 6,000 veterans every year.
Incredible. So Katherine Horan, Director of Client Services at Veterans Inc., before I let you go, off the top of your head, and we didn't talk about this before, give me one success story of a veteran that came to you or a family member that came to you and you saw them through the process.
So we had a woman who had lost her housing. She came into our shelter. She was there for a few months. During that time, she was able to connect with our employment and training program. She got a new job. We were able to connect her with a partner program that we work with to get her a car. So she was able to easily get to work without having to worry about the bus schedule. She then was able to find an apartment. She's right now actually waiting to move in. So she's working with 3 of our different programs for, mental health, for housing, for employment. So she's working, she's being reunited with her son, and they should be moving in right in the beginning of February into their new apartment.
So that didn't take you long to think about because it's something that just happened. And this is just one of probably hundreds, if not thousands, of success stories from Veterans Inc. Veteransinc.org will give you all of the information about all of the resources and programs that you offer. And Katherine, thanks for sharing all of this with us.
Thanks for having me.